In the first on point, we look at the row which has erupted over the unexplained resignation of Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar. In the second on point, the Bihar Assembly becomes a boxing ring over the electoral roll revision exercise row. Now let's take a quick look at the headlines. No issues found in inspections carried out on Boeing 787-737 fleet, says Air India. 18-year-old woman returning from birthday party raped in Odisha's Jagat Singhpur. Khalistani extremist issue brought to UK's attention, says Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri before Prime Minister's visit. Indian Air Force to phase out iconic MiG-21 jets by September. Supreme Court says eateries along Kama Yatra route must display licenses. BCCI could be included in National Sports Governance Bill. Four dead, 15 missing in Pakistan as flash floods ravage Gilgit-Baltistan. US Senator Lindsey Graham warns India, China and Brazil of severe tariffs over Russian oil purchases. Russian assault continues as Germany and UK meet to decide on Ukraine ammo supply. In a move no one saw coming, Jagdeep Dhankhar, the country's 14th Vice President, resigned on Monday evening, citing health reasons. Dhankhar's sudden resignation on day one of the Monsoon Session has the nation's political circles abuzz. One of the most assertive Vice Presidents to occupy the chair of Rajya Sabha, Chairman, Dhankhar's legacy is equally eventful and controversial. Even the timing and the manner of his exit has stirred up a controversy. Opposition leaders say there is much more to it than meets the eye.
स्वास्थ्य कारणों से उन्होंने दिया है। मुझे इस सरकार की कुछ चीजें जो बेहद परेशान करती हैं और मैं अकेला नहीं हूं। ओपेसिटी इनका हॉलमार्क हो गया है, गैर पारदर्शिता। कोई निर्णय क्यों होता है, क्यों कोई व्यक्ति बीच अपने कार्यकाल में इस्तीफा दे देते हैं, ये पूरी सरकार पर प्रश्न है।
भाजपा कभी भी ठीक से किया, स्वास्थ्य का खराब हो सकता तो एम्स जैसे बहुत ही बढ़िया हॉस्पिटल है, इसका इलाज हम करवा देंगे। और ऐसी कौन सी बड़ी स्वास्थ्य की मुद्दा है उपराष्ट्रपति का? वो लंबे जम्बे जाट है, हट्टे कट्टे सब ठीक ठाक है, मगर ये सरकारी बीमारी है, ये अजीब वायरस भाजपा में घूमती रहती है, तो अब आके इनको भी ऐसी लग गई है।
पर्दे के पीछे कुछ हो रहा है, बड़ी राजनीति हो रही है दिल्ली में। राष्ट्रीय राजनीति में पर्दे के पीछे कुछ ऐसी बातें हो रही है, जल्दी सामने आ जाएगी। उपराष्ट्रपति जी का जो इस्तीफा है वो कोई साधारण घटना नहीं है, मैं मानता हूं। जो कारण दिया है उनकी हेल्थ का, मैं मानने को तैयार नहीं। वो बहुत ही स्वस्थ आदमी है, खुशमिजाज आदमी है, वैसे मैदान छोड़ने वाले आदमी तो नहीं है। हमारे उनसे मतभेद हो सकते हैं, लेकिन मैं उनको जो देखता हूं वो सहजता से मैदान छोड़ने वाली व्यक्ति नहीं है, वो लड़ने वाले आदमी है।
Opposition leaders allege something is amiss in the ill health theory, considering that the Vice President was extremely active on July 21st in the run-up to the announcement. So certain things don't add up. On July 20th, Dhankhar hosted journalists and parliament staff at his wife's birthday. On July 21st, he swore in 8 new MPs. Allowed Mallikarjun Kharge to speak on Operation Sindoor in Rajya Sabha. It was BJP President JP Nadda who interjected during Kharge's speech, not Dhankhar. At 4 p.m, Dhankhar's Jaipur 23rd July itinerary was announced. At 5:30 p.m, opposition MPs met Vice President. At 6 p.m, 50 opposition MPs signed petition against Justice Varma and submitted it to Dhankhar. After a few hours, Vice President resigned. Now, on the other hand, sources in the government tell a different story. They say that Dhankar did not keep government in loop over Justice Varma impeachment motion, or else they too would have signed the impeachment memorandum. Now this is a serious piece of information flowing out of the system. The president has accepted Dhankar's resignation. The question that emerges is, what happens next? How do we elect our president? Members of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha constitute the electoral college. So it's a simple direct election. Voting is by secret ballot. Now his critics are saying that Jagdeep Dhankhar was arguably the most controversial to occupy the vice president's position. So let me recount the controversies he made in his tenure. He called Supreme Court's judgment striking down the National Judicial Appointments Commission Act compromise of parliamentary sovereignty. Said judges were acting like super parliament. Questioned SC's directive to the president on bill assent timelines. Accused of bias against opposition parties in favor of BJP, the famous fight he had in Rajya Sabha with the women MPs. And he made it an issue that he did not back down when Jaya Bachchan was attacking him. Faced and survived rare impeachment motion in December 2024 brought in by the opposition, backed CBI and ED amid opposition claims of political misuse, especially against Congress and AAP. In 23, said those sitting on the streets in the name of farmers' movements are not real farmers. As West Bengal governor accused Mamata government of constitutional violation, he opposed state's move to replace governor with CM as university chancellor. Suspended 141 opposition MPs from Rajya Sabha in December 2023 winter session. Mocked by TMC MP and filmed by LOP Rahul Gandhi in parliament premises, Dhankar said it was an insult to his Jat identity. And you know what is the twist of fate? Mamata Banerjee spoke on Dhankar.
I don't have any comments about it because let us see the things. Let us watch. He is wealthy man. He is a healthy man. I think his health is absolutely okay.
Now, on this issue, why did he resign? He spoke on ideological issues, cultural issues, took on Mamata Banerjee, but something happened behind the scene that it led to his abrupt resignation. I'm joined by Ajay Bose, author, political analyst, journalist, Ajit Jha, psephologist, journalist, Sweta Mishra, journalist, KV Prasad, with someone I have reported, journalist, and Bipin Sharma, again journalist. Let me straight away go to Mr. Bose first. I mean, so this decision took everyone by surprise, Ajay. So the question is that we saw the execution of a decision. Is it because he fell out with the top brass, or he felt angry over something? Very rarely vice presidents resign over an issue which is medical, because the office permits them a timeout. And we in our country have seen that the Prime Minister, Manmohan Singh, underwent a bypass surgery. There was a committee and he still came back. I was very young in school, but MG Ramachandran, he was out for 3 months. There was no communication, but entire government ran in Tamil Nadu. And there have been cases like that. Ajay, your opening comments.
So clearly, this is not a medical issue. And this is a political issue. I think this is a problem between, Mr. Dhankhar and the government, the powers that be. And I feel that what is really mysterious is the very abrupt manner this thing has happened. It was quite possible that Mr. Dhankhar wasn't being seen as a government, seen by the government as an asset, because I've been hearing these rumors over the past few months that somehow Jagdeep Dhankhar has fallen out with the government. But the fact that he so abruptly announces resignation on this very flimsy medical ground, as he very correctly says, this sort of thing does not happen. So there's obviously much more that meets the eye. there's a lot of speculation which is swirling around that it is possible that the opposition motion against Justice Varma, to impeach Justice Varma, which he accepted, was the trigger. Because it seems that something happened yesterday afternoon.
Okay.
That created this problem.
Okay.
Because before that, everything was going well.
So basically, I got it.
That the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, Mr. Nadda, and people didn't attend his 4:30 meeting was a clear signal that something was wrong.
Okay. You're saying something happened. Smita, did something happen yesterday, or was there something brewing for the last 90 days?
I don't think it's 90 days, and how can we just interpret 90 days? Could have 80, it could be 95. However, I do believe that what you call most controversial.
Smita, I think there's a bit of a network issue with you. We will fix the. There's a little network issue in context of voice that needs to be fixed. Let me straight away go to Ajit. Do you think that what we saw yesterday was immediate, or just an execution of something that perhaps have been taking place for last month or so?
Karthik, look, the immediate reason for his resignation yesterday was, according to me, the fact that he took government by surprise, and in fact he embarrassed the government by allowing, the notice of motion for removal of High Court Judge Justice Varma. Now, he did it while the government was still trying to make a move in the Lok Sabha. In the Raj Sabha, he basically, where only about 63 or 65 MPs, opposition MPs had signed, he basically took that and went ahead. So the government got embarrassed, because obviously the BJP government, the NDA government, would like that move to be made by the government, not by the opposition. So obviously he did not consult the treasury benches in the Lok Sabha, neither did he consult, the party president, maybe the prime minister or the home minister. He wasn't aware of the situation. Now, being such a senior leader of the BJP, being the vice president, he's a lawyer by profession. What he did was absolutely someone in his position should not have done. The government was red-faced. So that was obviously the immediate reason, according to me. Okay, and that is why the whole drama in 4 hours. Obviously, there's a whole list of things he's done in the past for which he's not very popular. Okay. And that you kind of, as have already mentioned, others have mentioned, the fact that the way he sort of behaves with senior party MPs. Remember that Jaya Bhaduri episode? Really embarrassing to a great extent.
See, there are two things there, Ajit. Either he embarrassed the government or he made enemies with the opposition parties. That's a separate, line of argument. My question is simple. If I may use the word as a matter of phrase of the English language, he was a poster boy in context of the position he took, whether it's on culture, national issues, judiciary, certain issues on which even the BJP members didn't speak. The way he spoke on the issue of judiciary and the parliamentary sovereignty took everyone by surprise. So, Smita, that is what I want to ask you. Was he making more? People are thinking he was making friends with the opposition, or was he ending up irritating the government by speaking out of turn?
No, I think more than irritating, it may have been possible that we know that Mr. Dhankhar is a person who is known to speak his mind. And I don't think anybody felt anything amiss about that, because you have mentioned his tenure as a Bengal governor. And despite whatever may have happened in his tenure as Bengal governor, he was chosen to be vice president. So I think speaking his mind was not such a problem. What I think is possible is the fact that on certain very I would say very sensitive policy issues, most particularly his views on the judiciary, he is known to speak his mind openly in public forums, in public events, and many a times, being the vice president, his opinion, his personal view his perspective on certain issues might have been seen as if it was a reflection of the government's policy or the government's mind, which was not really the case. And that could have been a trigger. But I think it is also a fact that he was going through a not very healthy period. He had there were occasions when he became very unwell, and it was a challenge for him. Maybe the rigors of managing the house like the Rajya Sabha, considering what scenes we are witnessing there lately, that may have been a strenuous task for him. But yes,
Smita, I would like to differ from you here, because the position of the Vice President has a dual function, Smita. There is a discharge of a constitutional duty outside the premise of Rajya Sabha, and in Rajya Sabha, it can be subletted to the Vice Chair and a panel of chairs who can do the job, and it allows you to take a break, and he did not. This is what surprises me. It allows him that space, and he chose not to accept that space.
So there are two possibilities. Either he was not ready to, take that break, or what you are calling as a break, or the other issue may have been that on both sides it was felt that the best is to, give him that break for a longer time. But yes, I will repeat what I have articulated earlier, that his views on certain sensitive matters were willy-nilly perceived as a policy statement reflecting the government's view, which may not have been the case. That is for us.
I think you made a very important point, Smita. You really made a very important point. Mr. Prasad, we'll take this point forward, but the parting tweet of the Prime Minister on Vice President is pretty cold. Hamid Ansari he got a farewell despite his controversial interviews at the end of the tenure on the book he wrote. But despite that, the Prime Minister chose to have a farewell for him. Mr. Dhankar is getting none. Mr. Prasad.
Yeah, I think that shows a very clear frost in the relationship. There's no say. That tweet itself don't just restricted itself to wishing him good health. It did not talk of anything other than that. And the customary farewell speech or whatever, he was not allowed to come. There was no house today for him to come. Okay. So those were the facts of farewell. So that explains the frostiness in the relationship between the Prime Minister's office and the Vice President's office. But the aspect of 50 MPs, now the chairman has to look at the motion, because as Rajya Sabha, just 50 MPs need to sign. In fact, I think what he made a point was, there was one member whose signature was duplicate. And he said both signatures don't match. So he was going into it. And I don't think it's the chairman's job to go and invite and tell the speaker that, look, I have got this motion. These communications between two houses are handled through the Secretary Generals. They are the official communicators between the two houses. The chairman of the Rajya Sabha and the speaker of the Lok Sabha may have informal communication. The communication between two houses are routed to the Secretary General. So I think there is a bit of a procedure issue there.
Okay, Mr. Sharma, there are a lot of names doing round. A lot of people are throwing names like, there might be a sort of a movement of maybe Arif Mohammad Khan in Delhi, Mr. Jha in Patna, and Mr. Saxena to Kashmir, and someone from abroad, Mr. Khullar, can come back. I'm not going to get into that, but the real issue is, will we have someone with a long-standing political, parliamentary expertise to be on the chair? Or do you think that an outsider who is capable of making a symbolic statement, the way they made a very powerful statement with Ramnath Kovind, there was a very powerful statement that came with President Murmu, she's a tribal. Do you think that sort of a nomination will come? Because NDA has majority in both houses. If you see, they have the numbers.
Karthik, a very pertinent question. You see, the point here is NDA per se would like to choose a candidate, a person for this constitutional post, and a very critical post. Someone who is non-controversial as well as low profile, and yet, with a very impeccable track record. So that is a given. Now, see, with utmost regards and no offense, though health reasons have been cited by Mr. Jagdeep Dhankhar, but then there's much more to it than meets the eyes, and that's a certainty. Reason being, because speculation is rife about so many reasons. Like, for example, we have to now relate the recent developments to this bombshell. It's literally a bombshell that has been dropped by Jagdeep Dhankhar all of a sudden. Look at the timing. And then because all was well. So now when all was well, then all of a sudden this bombshell comes, this announcement of unceremonious resignation with no farewell speech, with no farewell ceremony. So I think this really signals that all is not well. While BJP NDA might attempt to project that all is well and all is under control, health reasons, they are all wishing him good health. But then the critical point here is who next? Now Harivansh, JDU MP, who's the deputy chairman of Rajya Sabha. So that is one probability. But then there are other names as well. Arif Muhammad Khan.
Mr. Sharma, I don't.
Should not forget, very important thing, Karthikeyan, in short, I would like to make a mention that how Jagdeep Dhankhar, how BJP was inspired to nominate him for the post of vice president, because the challenging role that he had played as the governor of West Bengal.
Correct.
It was a very, very tough.
I agree with you. I agree with your reasoning. The reason why he performed very well in context of BJP's politics in West Bengal, he found himself in Delhi. I completely agree with you. Yes, Ajoy, you want to say something, but I really want to ask you this. The point which Smita raised, you can address it if you want to. Do you think that speaking out of turn cost him his job, especially on issues in which the government didn't want him to speak, and especially in context of judiciary, which people thought he's speaking on behalf of the government, perhaps government didn't want him to address those issues at all? To you, sir.
The truth will out, I think, over the next several weeks and months, because I can assure you, I know Jagdeep Dhankhar for decades. I met him with Chaudhry Devilal, and he's a fighter, and he may turn out to be quite a bit like Satpal Malik.
Oh, that's a brilliant point. That's a brilliant point. That's what I was thinking. कि दो सोशलिस्टों ने नाक पे दम किया, पहले सतपाल मलिक ने किया, अब ये दूसरे वाले हो गए, नाराज हो गए.
बिल्कुल. So, and both are Jats also.
Both are Jat leaders.
Both are Jats. So, I know Jagdeep Dhankhar very well, and he sort of calls a spade a shovel. And so, so they haven't heard the last of Jagdeep Dhankhar. But also you must remember, Jagdeep Dhankhar was a very interesting guy. He had many connections, and one of these connections was a very close line to the RSS. In fact, what I am told, when he was appointed vice president, I am told that Mohan Bhagwat had a role in that. So, so it's very interesting, because a lot of things are happening within this entire political apparatus which is ruling. And we don't know about it, because nowadays, there's very little political investigative reporting, as you know, what we used to do in our earlier days. So, so I think that we'll know exactly why and what are the reasons. And this bombshell, which was dropped indeed, because it does embarrass the government. Because the first day Parliament opens for a very stormy monsoon session, you have the chairman of the Rajya Sabha going out. I mean, it's really a very embarrassing thing for the government. So I think that we'll have to see, because it does create a problem for the government, and what will happen in the future, how far will Jagdeep Dhankhar go, and this is surely a protest, resignation.
Okay.
And you can see it from the Prime Minister's own very terse one-line farewell message. He's just one line for the Vice President.
Okay, I really don't know, because if you look at Jat as a community in terms of affecting elections, I think in recent elections it just didn't work out, and subsequently you have Jayant joining hands with switching side to BJP. Is it a problem of optics, Ajit, or is it is going to be any substantial electoral issues? Because Satpal Malik also tried to make a lot of point out of the farm protest, but nothing much happened. Now no one remembers him. I know this is a bigger scale. He's the vice president. He was a governor. I know there is a difference, but then do you think it's going to be confined to the optics till the next issue comes up, sir?
I don't think Vice President Dhankar is a great Jat leader, first of all. So I don't think that is the credential that he brings to the BJP. He was a lawyer. He was very forthright when he used to speak. As governor of West Bengal, he kind of, fought with Mamata. At that time, he suited the BJP. But I feel that before 2024 Lok Sabha election and after 2024 Lok Sabha election, what is acceptable in the BJP and the Sangh Parivar is very different. The fact that in one of his speeches, he said socialism and secularism should be replaced by Sanatan Dharma. I don't think the BJP likes to hear that after 2024 because that affects the Dalit vote, that affects the MBC vote. The trouble with Vice President Dhankar was that he was not a good team player. He was not cool. He was never calm. He would get worked up. He's very unlike, let's say, to give an example, he's very unlike party president JP Nadda. Nadda is this cool guy. Remember,
I would say he's very unlike. I would say he was very unlike Bhairav Singh Shekhawat. I think that was the chairman who impressed me the most because I had the opportunity to cover both Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. I really found him very witty.
Just one point. In RSS, the basic principle is that the best Swayam Sevak, they always say, is a guy who basically पैर में चक्कर, dil mein takkar, muh mein shakkar. Now, he doesn't fit any of that. That is what is considered a great Sangh Parivar sort of ideal man, whereas JP Nadda does. So they'll probably look for a person, according to me, who fits that bill. In fact, the deputy chairman right now, although he's from JDU, he actually fits the bill. But then obviously they'll want a BJP replacement, a Sangh person. So therefore we'll have to wait and see. Maybe Mr. Nadda, maybe someone else, because the BJP always gives a surprise at the very end. But obviously not someone like Mr. Dhankar who is not a team player, who just speaks his mind out. He thinks he's a lawyer, therefore he takes on the judiciary. You cannot do that when you are you're part of the ruling party and you are working with Prime Minister Modi, who himself who likes to take the front leadership himself. He doesn't like people on the side sort of, basically creating noise there, which can be very embarrassing for the government. Anyway, what he did on Monday, the fact that he took the opposition motion without consulting the treasury benches is, according to me, something a responsible leader, chairman of the Rajya Sabha should never do. And I think that is what has that is why the drama folded yesterday. He caused a major embarrassment for the government. The government now feels that the whole Justice Varma issue, opposition will play the high moral ground, not the government. So that, I think, basically cost him his job, according to me, although there could have been other reasons or his health as side.
But let me be the devil's advocate here. That was not even noticed by the people till his resignation happened. If you look at the discussions that were taking place, it did not even find mention except headline, one STD of the larger narrative. It became an issue when he had put in his papers that he has done this. So my question is different. Even if you get a snub, no one is going to impeach a vice president because impeachment would be a bigger controversy. So what prompts him to go and put in his papers, Smita? I'll just reverse the question here. He could have just weathered the storm. Smita.
No, so just to take off from what the gentleman just speaking just before me pointed out regarding taking up that motion for impeachment, which was already which was already on the table in Lok Sabha. Even if that was one of the reasons, it would only be the final straw or the last trigger, the latest trigger, because it could not have been the one and only reason. There must be a string of reasons ahead of that, before that, and adding to it the fact that we must respect his health concerns. However, if you just allow me a few seconds, I would like to add from my observation. If I understand the functioning of things so far, I would not place my bet on anybody to succeed Mr. Dhankhar who belongs to any of the allies of the NDA. Either it will be someone who is a total BJP leader from the ranks, or it will be somebody who is beyond party fold. For example, there is a gentleman called Mr. Lalpura or other people. I will not dwell on any name, but either it will be somebody who is beyond party fold, who holds a stature and position that both sides of the house will not feel like opposing it. It will be an acceptable name who can take along everybody, or it will be a total true blue BJP RSS person. It will most likely not be someone from the allies. Beyond the fact that Harivansh ji for now will be running the remaining days of the 4 weeks of this session, because probably the government will, there will be election of a new vice president, maybe somewhere in the intervening period before the next session. So the new vice president
it takes
will most
one day.
likely...
It takes one day. I have covered the election. It just takes one day. 800 odd MPs one day.
Yes, because unlike the president, the electoral college only includes members of parliament. So it's a very quick kind of a procedure. But I will say that Mr. Harivansh will step up, which he has, to run the session till such time as the new incumbent is in place. But as I said, probably it will not be a full-time vice president, may not be from one of the allies. It will most likely either be a senior, seasoned BJP person or somebody who is beyond any party fold.
Okay, let me play out the bite of Randeep Singh Surjewala and Akhilesh Yadav, and then I'll go to Mr. Prasad, because the issue is, I feel, is Arif Muhammad Khan making a comeback? This is a specific question to you, KV. But first, let me play out the bites.
The manner in which sudden, abrupt and mysteriously a constitutional office holding Vice President of India has resigned leaves many questions unanswered. BJP has a track record of undermining constitutional offices and processes both. We would like to know from none less than the Prime Minister, by way of a statement on the floor of the Parliament, both Rajya Sabha, where Mr. Dhankhar was a presiding officer, as also in Lok Sabha, the circumstances as also the reasons for this abrupt resignation. What meets the eye and what is the actual reason are totally different. So it is time we demand that Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, must come forward and take people of India as also the Parliament into confidence.
जो हम लोगों को जानकारी मिली है स्वास्थ्य को लेकर के है, और इतनी उम्र में स्वास्थ्य को लेकर के तो चिंता करनी चाहिए हम सब लोगों को भी। इतना जब उम्र हो जाती है तो कई बार स्वास्थ्य को लेकर के चिंता करनी चाहिए। इतना जब उम्र हो जाती है तो कई बार स्वास्थ्य को लेकर के चिंता करनी चाहिए।
Okay, so Mr. Prasad, do you think that Mr. Arif Muhammad Khan is the front runner? I've specifically decided not to run the names and the videos, lest a surprise candidate comes up, but we can always talk about it.
Okay, I mean I couldn't hear your question.
I'm saying, do you think that Arif Muhammad Khan can
be? Fine, thank you. Yeah. And now there are two aspects to it. Just before I come to Arif Muhammad Khan's point that you raised, please remember there was another motion to remove a judge pending before the Vice President, the Chairman of Rajya Sabha, in case of Allahabad High Court. And there was no decision made on that. In fact, the process of verification remains. So the question of mixing one against the other can always be happened. I think in that case, it was said there was a bit of a dragging of the feet in that. Okay. As for Arif Muhammad Khan, again, it will be the same route. A congressman going to socialist to come back to BJP's. And he was in the contention, as one heard around the last time when Mr. Dhankhar was elevated to the post from governorship. I think BJP will not give this position to anybody other than somebody from its own ranks. There is no reason why BJP should let go of such an important position to anybody else. It is not dependent on the allies, number one. What does any other party bring to the BJP? That will be important. Politically, will it add to it? I don't see so.
But Mr. Prasad, we should always remember the reason why that Venkaiah Naidu was not given the second term and why
But
Dhankar was
he
brought
was
in.
from the BJP. He was from the BJP.
But what was
So
the narrative? What was the narrative? The narrative was they need someone to control the house.
Yeah, so
That
fair
was the
enough.
narrative, na? They need someone
So
to control
again,
the house.
you need your own person, because now they've experimented with Mr. Dhankar, who came to via Janata Dal to Congress to BJP. Arif Mohammad Khan's case is Congress, Janata Dal, and he's not really BJP, right?
Okay.
So I don't see a non-BJP person
Okay.
without the backing of RSS coming to that post.
Okay, Smita, you wanted to come in, then I'll go to Mr. Sharma.
No, not much. Just to reiterate that if running the house is the sole criteria, I think the BJP will have enough choice. The BJP leadership will have enough
Achha,
choice.
you tell
among
me,
its own
Smita, you have covered
senior
BJP
leaders.
RSS for more than 2 decades. Why did the shift take place from Venkaiah Naidu to Mr. Dhankar? Why was he not given a second tenure, second term? Why did the government decide to get Mr. Dhankar at that point of time? I think that's an crucial window to understanding.
Because I think one very interesting and quite a regular element of the Modi government is that not too many people are given second terms. There is a rotational process, and the senior sensitive positions are always changed among people. Very few people are kept in the place that they are. There is a tendency to bring in new faces, add more value for whatever it's worth, and keep changing names so that everybody gets a chance. This applies to bureaucrats, it applies to politicians, it applies to
Not bureaucrats, Smita. You know, in this regime, bureaucrats are forever. I think that's the criticism made by a lot of people. Enforcement Directorate, RAW, Intelligence Bureau. In this government, bureaucrats are forever.
You are only looking at the people who are being continued. If you look at the people who are being replaced, there is a great balance going on.
Okay.
It applies to governors, it applies to officers, it applies to...
But I don't think it applies to top officers.
So if somebody getting changed is not always a question of merit. This government likes to bring in new faces and try out...
I differ.
For all kinds of responsibility.
I differ. Ajoy, you wanted to come in? I differ.
Yeah, a very quick point. Sort of Jagdeep Dhankhar was holding a post. The chairman of the Rajya Sabha is a little different from the president's job. Yes. The president's job is largely a titular job, whereas here you have to manage a Rajya Sabha which will increasingly get very unruly. So you have to have 2 qualifications. One is that you have to be totally loyal to the government, because as we know, in today's politics, it is a completely yes man they're looking for. And the second thing is that he has also to be competent to run the house. He can't just be a dummy. So it is very, very important that the government, that the government, Mr. Modi chooses somebody. And finally, I think the Sangh will have a say in this. I mean, please do not underestimate the RSS in the replacement for Mr. Dhankar.
Okay. Mr. Sharma, your closing comments, and I've really run short of time. Mr. Sharma, your closing comments. Am I audible to you? Bipin Sharma?
Beg your pardon? Can you repeat the question?
Yes, I'm saying your closing comments, sir. Ajoy said that the Sangh will have the final say. Or Sangh will have the final say, or the 3 people at the top will have the final say.
Right. So, see, one thing is for sure, BJP can't afford to rile its senior leader. Anyone who shows them the mirror, the top brass especially. Now, we must bear in mind in this discussion, it is very pertinent to make a short mention of Mohan Bhagwat's statement when he spoke about people above 75. They should pave the way for other leaders to come forward and take charge. And then look at the irony. On one hand, when Kalyan Banerjee was mocking and the others were videographing those movements, and then now they are shocked.
I think
they are saddened. But
Bipin,
the million-dollar question is that the Bihar elections are also around the corner. You have to bear that in mind. So whether it is related to Bihar elections or someone from the allied partners, because time and again the opposition has gone hammers and tongs. They are saying that the BJP government is on crutches. So in this scenario, keeping this in mind, whether BJP wants to, is it a master stroke or is it a self goal? That time will determine.
Okay, Ajit, very quickly, 30 seconds.
All I wanted to say is it was the Prime Minister's decision that forced Mr. Dhankar's resignation. It will be Prime Minister's decision on who will be the new Vice President. Totally Mr. Modi's decision. The Sangh and others might be consulted, but the final decision will be Mr. Narendra Modi is the Prime Minister.
I think I agree with you. Sangh might have a say, but I think the Prime Minister Modi will have his way, or else, we would have the BJP president a long time ago, and Mr. Nadda wouldn't have continued like that. Sorry, Speta, I know, I've really run short of time. Thank you all of you for joining me on this show. But everyone is surprised as to why Mr. Dhankar resigned on the first day of the session, taking everyone by surprise. This was on point one. In the second on point, we look at the bedlam that broke out in the Bihar Assembly over the electoral poll revision after a short break.
एसोसिएट स्पॉन्सर डायना प्रीमियम ब्यूटी सोप, पहली झलक करे खूबसूरत।
ये शहर भी तो अंगना तेरा मेरा, इसको भी